napakahirap. Charot.
Math,
Oo, math.
para sa kuha ang math kay para makabalot ako sa mga ano sa kuan mga sa mga problem na tapos para kung sa mga solving sa problem makuha na.
Salamat eh. Math.
Final na na.
Sige, bye. 1, 2, 3, go. Hello, good morning no guys. Natakaroon nila Ate Lings og mangitata og mga sets. Tara! So, para makabalo ang tanan, ang sets di ay saman kay collection of distinct objects. So, diri Ate Lings, ang una dyan na tumakitan kay ang set sila mga sudan. Yes, go lang ng go. So, naatay tilapia, pork with broccoli, sinuglaw ni Ate Lings, bopis, pakbet, pansit, itlog, o dili dyan siya mawala. Pag na itlog, na hotdog. Lamiya jud sa set sa ilang sudan. Uy, gigutumin noon ko guys. Mukhaon sa ako ha.
Asa na ba to si Van? Uy? Asan juga to siya? Hoy! Naman na mo diraa. Nagpagitan ako si Van. Pero dahil hindi ako nakitaan. Natandari karon atong tanaawon ang mga set sa sakyanan diri sa Atrium. Ingon sila pag taga UP, mga dato daw. So diri lang mga sakyanan, wala mi diri ha. So, usa mga set nga inyong makitaan. Natay pula nga sakyanan, natay kulor puti, napadyoy puti, nay black, napadyoy puti. So kini sila mga set na sila sa car. Lahi-lahi sila og form, lahi sila og color, pero mga sakyanan sila. Diba, ingon ganina na ang set kay a collection of distinct object. So, bisag lahi-lahi, kung under sila sa isa ka set, kung ang set sa mga sakyanan. So, saan pag ato makita ang set sunod? Abangan! Tara, pangito na si Van.
Hello, we are in UP's favorite place with a triangular sign. It's UPAV. Yay. Oh, this is the inside of UPAV. And inside UPAV we can find many interesting shapes like this over here, and the tables and chairs, and more interestingly, the windows. Okay, here we have Crystal, a regular here at UPAV, to tell us about the interesting shapes in this window.
So this window is composed of many different geometrical shapes. You have a large rectangular shape here. You have the Hindu swastika here. You have other different shapes here. The interesting thing about this is when it is a combination of different geometrical shapes for design, it also serves a purpose. It is still a functioning window which can keep things out. And you can cover this up because it'll keep the weather out. So it works.
Yay! Okay.
So you hear a lot that mathematics has a lot to do with music and music has a lot to do with math. And that's true, but a big thing of music and math is it doesn't really rely purely on mathematics, it also relies on how you apply mathematics. You can go from the most basic mathematics to the most complex mathematics in music and it will still apply, but it still relies on how you play around with that. So one of the basic things is fractions, which is used a lot in music. This isn't really formal music theory, but in a way it is still fractions. And this is what I find the most useful actually out of mathematics. So if we go with scales, for example, we go with whole steps in the notes. So you have something like this. But if you add fractions to that and make fractional movements between the notes, you get a totally different sounding scale. So we go from this to this. So whole notes, fractional notes. So that's the most basic concept. But if you want to go another step deeper than that, you actually go into the sine waves of the actual music, of the actual sound. So for example, the easiest to explain is what an octave is. So this is an octave. This is your open note, this is your root note, and this is your octave. Technically, the octave, this one, is times 2 the frequency of the sine wave of the first note.
Okay, so we just discussed how math can be applied to music, but math can also be applied in literature. And it's most obviously applied in poetry, which, especially in traditional forms of poetry where you have to follow a form. For example, in Shakespeare's sonnets, when in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I alone beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate. So the lines I just told you, those are four lines and 10 syllables per line. And in those lines, there's an AB rhyming structure with where the first line rhymes with the third line and the second line rhymes with the fourth line. And it's basically how you play with these rules in a traditional poem that you're able to make different meanings or different poems and even different images. So yeah, that's it.
Recent elections, asa ang math dito ah?
Aside sa katong pag-vote jud sa mga tao, makita man nato ang math dito based sa katong numbers nga ginapaan sa mga tao. Sa result mismo, dito ang numbers sa pagboto nila, sa pagpili nila. Isa pa sa math, kay katong pagkuan sa result, pagpasa sa result, gikan sa mga precinct, antod sa server sa COMELEC. Makita nato dito na medyo nagkaroon ng problema katong pag-abot na sa transparency server na naging static ang result. So from 46%, naging 46% siya, doon pila ka hours lang and wala lang may fluctuation na nahitabo. So kato, math po to siya.
So if we think about math, we easily associate it with equations, with formula and numbers. But actually, math in its essence is actually just calculating some things, di ba? And kami din sa communication arts, na-apply din namin yan either sa linguistic na aspect. And ang math, itong dichotomy ng math or science versus communication, science versus art, this is actually na dated na to siya, outdated na to siya and all. So ang math, makikita mo din talaga siya in everywhere. It's in ang communication din kasi may formula din ito. If things don't add up, you need to subtract. If things masyado ng hindi siya nagtutugma. So meron din siyang may essential din siya ng formula. So ang math, mahahanap mo din ito, ang pinaka-core ng math ay mahahanap mo din sa iba't ibang aspeto. You do not just hindi mo lang ito ikinukulong sa sa forma lang ng representation lang siya ng mga numbers, ng equations. So ayun, nandun din ang math sa communication.
Asa ang math sa food tech?
Sa food tech na ay math pag mag-food engineering namin, pag mag-calculate sa nutrition facts and sa kanang measurement sa food, sa proteins, nutrients. So I think doon na ma-apply ang math.
As a social science student or anthropology student, asa ang math dito?
Ang math sa anthropology is usually naa siya, especially sa research. Kaya ang research naman is dili lang siya qualitative but also quantitative. When we say quantitative, there are quantities, numbers. So kana pa lang siya daan measurements. Kanang measurement statistics is mo na siya ang mathematical and mao po na siya ang makapa-enhance sa data para mas maging valid and reliable ang research.
So ang math, makikita mo din talaga siya in everywhere.